I just want to finish the thread of what I was speaking about in the last video for myself and also for anyone who was watching. So the whole play of the world and the me, it's all the program. It's all just happening, arising and falling. And when we can see, anchoring in the beingness and learning how to be that space of love, unconditional love for ourselves, brings forth the dense energies in the body, all the not self-programming, the conditioning that was formulated from our traumas, that the core belief in separation, the core beliefs about ourselves and the world are held in the energy body, in the emotional body. And as we can hold the space more powerfully, as we allow this clearing to happen, we can hold the space even more powerfully for even deeper layers of pain to arise. But the new insight that's been seen, that's being seen here recently through my teachers' pointings, is that that program of pain and separation and the wounding, it plays itself out by itself. It's a program that arises through the transits. This is why astrology is so cool. I can see I'm going through Saturn opposite Moon. I'm going through my progressed Sun squaring my Saturn. And I'm going through Pluto opposition. It's going to be bringing shit up. And so it's just confirmation that yes, the program is bringing up these deep layers. Scorpio, 4th house, Uranus in the Uranus and Scorpio is like a core wounding to the root chakra, the foundation of the personality structure that was built from trauma. Now, I'm not a victim. I created this. I created this so I can heal it. For myself, for my lineage, for everybody, for the world. And so I can see through the program. So it's the program, so it's innocent. When we get triggered, when this body collapses and it triggers these emotions, these difficult emotions of just wanting to give up, frustration, like feeling like, what's the point? Just feeling completely shattered, like I don't belong in this world. All this stuff, that gets triggered automatically. It's no one choosing that. And so there's no one choosing to believe anything. That's why, the power of positive thinking and all that, it's good to a certain point, but at a certain point we also have to realize that these thoughts and feelings are coming up because we're meant to love them, and we're meant to be that space of love for ourselves that we never had that growing up, and we never had that in other lifetimes. And now we get to learn how to be that love for ourselves like no one else can. And when we bring that love to ourselves, we start to realize we are that love, and that nothing is separate from that love. But the thing that's being seen is that also now on the expansive side of the cycle, it's inevitably going to happen again. And I'm going to try to be aware of it again. But inevitably, as I start feeling good again and feeling free, the program's going to get triggered again to become ambitious and try to be somebody and have these intentions and goals for a future me. That program is also innocent, and that's what it's just another level of seeing how it is all a program. And that pursuit of the love, the admiration, the success, the feeling of becoming somebody in the external world, it's never going to satisfy what we truly long for. It's never going to get satisfied in the external world. And so in my movie, having a successful career, becoming an astrologer, all that, the Open G Center, trying to like have a direction and a purpose, and it's never going to get satisfied. Number one, because I have an Open G Center, but number two, because if it did get satisfied, then I wouldn't long for reality and freedom as much as I do. And so there may be some level of, I make a cool vlog, or I do a reading for someone, or I support someone in a certain way, or maybe my name gets out and people are reading my vlogs all of a sudden. But that's never going to bring the level of satisfaction and fulfillment that discovering the true self will. And so seeing the innocence of that program that is all playing, out of this core belief of separation, basically out of this core belief that I am doing something and I am the doer and the chooser of my life, we get to see that indeed is not true, that it's all playing for us to see that there's no one here. There's no one separate doing and choosing anything. And it's all coming. It's all love. It's all coming from love. And especially the painful parts are coming from the love of ourself, the love of God for us, to realize that we, no matter what's going on, we cannot be separated from the love that we are. That what my teacher points to again and again and again, the being is always here. No matter what it feels like or seems like, we're always home in ourself. And that's why we're already free. It's just that the program has to play out again and wear down the separate doer and the separate chooser, and wear down this core belief of separation so that we can see it more clearly. We can see our true self that's always here no matter what's going on. So the expectation that somehow my life is going to suddenly look like roses and butterflies all the time, and that I'm going to feel great in my body and I'm always going to be happy, that's a false expectation. Because it's not about the me getting what it wants. It's about realizing that who I am is untouched by whatever's going on in the movie of me. That the me is just the program. And the program plays, and we get hooked in. We get identified with it. But slowly, as we love, and we love ourselves through all of it, we humble ourselves. We realize we don't really know as much as we think we know. And we're willing to say that I don't know how to do this. And we're willing to feel our feelings and soften and open our hearts and become vulnerable to life. Because resting as the self, we're resting in the not knowing anything. We're resting in the complete openness of, we have no idea what life is going to bring, but we know we can handle it as the self, as the anchor, as we anchor in ourself. More and more, we know that it's never a punishment. It's always something. The challenges are always for greater and greater freedom and greater love. And this is what the human design system is pointing to, that it's all just a program. That the true self is passenger, consciousness watching. So yeah, it's a refinement process. We realize we're already free, and then life will play the program. The program will play these patterns so that we can see more and more clearly, and we can embody the truth of who we are more and more clearly and become these clear vessels, rather than being driven by the not self programming, the motivations of the separate self. We begin to become moved by true movement. And we get to learn, we get to learn what that feels like, what that means. So yeah, this Mars retrograde in Gemini is showing us my will versus divine will. And I'm seeing, this egoic pattern in myself that wants to get the love and be seen and feel like she's enough by becoming somebody successful in the world, or becoming, just the whole social media beast. Yeah, and then, it is true, like, I do want to be seen, and we all want to be seen, and that's true, the ego wants to be seen, and yet, if we're on this path, and that of liberation, of full awakening, and fully embodying the awakening, then we have to come to see ourselves. We have to come to be that full light and full love for ourselves, and to be the being where nothing is needed outside of ourselves. And as we become that, embody that more and more, and rest in the truth of the self, we don't grasp outside of ourselves anymore. It's a natural process that's happening. And I'm saying this to myself because inevitably she's going to go out in the world and be humbled, and yeah, inevitably she's going to go out. I'm going to go out and have that ambition again. But this Mars retrograde is really wearing me down, and the whole eclipse in Scorpio, and I'm going to post my chart just so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's all a program. It's all innocence, both sides. The one that becomes expansive, and then the me grabs on and identifies like, I'm the successful one. I'm the one that has something to share. And we can see that on subtler and subtler layers. There's no one doing anything wrong there. We all are going to get humbled on this journey. The ego will get humbled. And then on the other side, it's like, I'm the failure. That's just as egoic as saying I'm the successful one, right? It's like the self-pity victim side of things, and the other one is the narcissist side of things. I'm the one that's becoming a success in my life, and I'm the one that's, doing all the healthy things for my body. And then on the other side, I'm the failure. I'm the one that can't do any of it. Both of it is untrue. Oh, bless us. And the whole world, and here's the thing, the rest of the world is propagandizing the separate self. And I keep buying into it. Set your intentions and your goals and become a better me. Go after what you want, decide what you want, and go after it. All that is endorsing a separate me, which is great, and it's fine. Some souls want to experience being a powerful separate me. Some souls are here to experience that. But inevitably on the other side, on another lifetime, they're going to experience the powerlessness like I'm experiencing in this lifetime. My Mars, my Mars in my chart is debilitated in the 12th house, and it's my skip step. So it's all about surrender in this lifetime. It's all about seeing through the program of the separate me and the innocence and becoming truly like, thy will is my will, whatever that looks like. So I'll post my chart now. Okay, here's my chart. All right. So Leo rising, Leo moon, Saturn, bam, opposite my moon. Big time of a lot of isolation. But not so much difficulty in relationships because I'm not really having too many relationships right now. I have my core friendships. Really, I think this Saturn in the 7th house is about this whole transformation of the public, like how I'm trying to be involved in the world and how I'm trying to be seen by the world. Because 7th house is just general public too, in addition to our relationships. I'm having this whole back and forth with social media. Like, I'm realizing how impersonal it feels to me, just the way I engage with it. It's actually not very connected. And I'd rather have deeper connected relationships where we're actually talking with each other than just Facebooking. And so, yeah. So there's that strain, and also really showing me, Saturn is karma and showing me this longing, this moon, this vulnerability of really that core wound of wanting to be seen, which stems from daddy and mommy not seeing me, you know. I chose that storyline, and it was triggered by this man I met on my travels, this beautiful man who we spent a few beautiful romantic days together in Utah in Arches and had this wonderful connection. And then he disappeared. And so that played out. Everything plays out so we can feel these old painful things. And so that brought up this whole pain of rejection and feeling like, wow, I opened up and then he just disappeared, which probably happened with my father, like opening up so much to love with him and connection. And then all of a sudden it felt like that was shattered. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. I mean, I have seen sexual abuse, but I don't know if it was my father. But something came in and just shattered my connection with him. And then there was a feeling of rejection, and we judged each other. This whole really painful relationship with my father that never got healed before he died. So I found that a blessing, however, because it was such a huge burden on me that I thought I was the responsible one to heal us. Now that he's out of his body, I feel so much more connected to him. And like he has been able to see the truth of what was going on and see me and see my journey and love and accept me and vice versa. I see, the huge gift of the villain role that he played in my life to send me inside on this passionate journey to discover the love of myself. Otherwise, I would still be looking for it in men, and yet, the core wounds that we carry stem from our core relationships. So we have to, in a way, there's going to have to be an intimate relationship. It doesn't have to be sexual, but it has to be a very close relationship that's going to trigger our deepest vulnerabilities. So I know I'm going to have another very deep, powerful, plutonic relationship to bring up all my wounds. Because, hey, I'm plutonic. Look at this. So, yeah, like I was saying, Pluto, Sun, North Node. One astrologer said, I am Pluto. So, any relationship that gets intimate is going to be super intense. I can handle it. This is what my life has been, intensity. And then, so here's all the energy, the South Node going through my fourth house, and then Uranus here squaring my moon and Saturn, and then opposing my natal Uranus. So yeah, Uranus and Scorpio in the fourth house. I mean, that screams sexual abuse, and I have had so many lifetimes of sexual abuse. And so yeah. And then here's my Mars skip step. I don't know if you've heard, but in evolutionary astrology, when the nodal axis has a 90-degree angle to a planet, that's called the skip step. It's a huge thing in our chart that it's like on our journey to evolve to the North Node energies, we keep getting tripped up by this, whatever that planet is, whatever that signature is, that symbolism. And for me, I think this has a lot to do with those repeat feelings of being all alone, being abandoned by family, or also being stifled by family. Like I couldn't be who I wanted to be, or I couldn't be my full true self because I was stifled by all the family traditions and, all the old paradigm stuff. Like I felt like I had to show up for every family function, and I was just like exhausted. So I had to stop doing that. But also Mars in the 12th house, Cancer. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. The whole will. That's a dissolving of my will. And also repressed anger, repressed emotions, hidden emotions. So my whole journey, has been about letting these emotions come up, feeling them, and learning how to work with emotions, and learning how to work with my innocence, my inner child, Cancer, to love her, receive her, and also recognize when she's asking for my attention. So yeah, like the whole sickness, I've got Venus debilitated, Sun debilitated, Mars debilitated. Like it's just part of my journey. And, I see that more and more, that it's really about seeing that I'm free, even in the body stuff. Even in this sickness with COVID, as I'm like laid out on the bed, feeling like all this shitty stuff in my body, exhausted, I can still connect with the light. It's almost like feeling more and more like my body's transparent, and it's just, just connecting with that light of the self, even in the intensity of the body. And I think that's part of why it's taking so long, is just to see that more and more clearly, that even in the contractions, even in the sickness and the illness, I can stay connected to what's real, what's true. And the light of myself, it's just getting stronger. So, and here's the Mars retrograde going through my 11th house. Now, 11th house, a lot of astrologers say that's friendships, hopes and ambitions, greater networks of people, social media. Yes. And 11th house is where trauma, in evolutionary astrology, Mark Jones talks about the 11th house being trauma indicators. So on the one hand, this is playing out where there was all this drive and ambition, when I was out in Utah to like just make vlogs and share what was going on and create. And that felt really good and beautiful. And then Mars went retrograde and I got stopped. That ability got taken away because it was still coming from that moon, place of wanting to be seen or wanting to be somebody. It was still coming from the egoic grasping outside of myself for love and approval. And that's just being worn down again and again. So, and then, Pluto's been making its way through my 6th house for many, many years. It was squaring all this. And that's when the deep, deep dark night of the soul was happening. And now it's opposite. Some of my planets in my design side of my human design, mainly Mercury. So transforming the way I share, what I share. And then Jupiter and Neptune in the 8th house, bringing this egoic death. So I think that's what I want to say about my chart. So here it is. Big T square. So maybe you've got something similar going on. And Chiron, Chiron is hitting my South Node. So bringing up these identity crisis is the wounded healer, right? So these deep vulnerabilities around South Node, the gate 51 and 9th house Aries. This is a lot of fire energy. So at one point I was out there just like preaching and teaching, and like Sagittarius can be very dogmatic. And I think that was part of my past story. It's both sides of it, like playing the dogmatic one, the one that was like my way or the highway. It's my truth or nothing. And so then this lifetime is all about humbling and realizing I don't know shit, and stopped me dead in my tracks. So I can't live out the shadow side of that competitive gate 51 energy and come more to creating and speaking and sharing from a pure place of the heart and compassion and not needing any approval. And also being open to other people's perspectives. That's the 3rd house. Being open to continually realize, to continually learn and be humbled and hear and learn how to hear other people rather than just listening to myself. So Venus in gate 47, which is called oppression. This is not an easy gate, but this has to do with alchemy. And like, that's part of my purpose, is alchemizing all this density in my body, all this trapped emotion, all this anger, alchemizing it into light and transmuting the density into light. That rules the 10th house, Taurus. Venus rules that 10th house. So that is my purpose. That's my dharma. Just keep doing this alchemy work, keep feeling the feelings. And truly, I am supported in that. And I keep being supported in that. The universe keeps showing me it's not about having some career and being normal. It's like, no, your journey is to go inward, keep receiving the dense energies, the meeting the demons, the dark energies, and in myself. And now I get it. Keep going. I'm just going to keep going. So there you go. Just want to share my chart in case anyone is curious. Lots of love and thanks for watching.